Welcome to USC, Coach.
I appreciate it.
How's the transition from Oklahoma to USC taking over the defense?
Yeah, I mean, it's the third time we've installed the defense now, so I mean, there's a little bit of a confidence level that comes with that. I had an opportunity in this conference in Washington State several years ago, as you mentioned, in Oklahoma. So there's some obviously similarities in it. Anytime you take over, day one of spring ball, this is year 20 for me. Has a tendency to look like spring ball, whether you've been doing it a long time and the guy's been running the same calls for a while, or if it's the first time around. But it's in so many ways it's a tremendous opportunity for those guys in terms of a fresh start. It's a great opportunity for us in terms of a fresh start, just the same. And instilling expectations and habits and all those things that you do in spring football. And 2 days into it, it's easy to say we've made progress, but we got a long, long way to go.
What do you feel like your biggest strength is right now?
Yeah, it's still hard to diagnose. I mean, there's some guys that flash, in the weight room. There's guys that flash in the winter workout period, and you see some speed with some individuals. I highlight a guy like a Twilly, for instance, a guy that kind of matches the film that you kind of, as best as kind of talk out both sides of my mouth in terms of a fresh start for everybody. But you recognize some of those individuals that have played, and so it's nice to see a guy, from a weight room standpoint, from a workout standpoint, and through the first couple of days, kind of flash in some ways. And so highlight one individual that way. But no, it's strengths and weaknesses. Right now I see a whole lot of weaknesses, and the strengths got to come. And like I said, that's not completely dissimilar to other places in terms of the first 2 days of spring. And certainly get the pads on Saturday, and we'll get a better chance to assess some of that stuff.
Talk about Kalen Bullock and his versatility. How does he make your job easier, knowing that you can probably play him in a variety of different positions?
Yeah, and another guy, young player, obviously in the program, a guy that has some quality, reps from a year ago. And so I think from an experience standpoint, just from a communication, how a guy acts in a meeting room to how he performs on the practice field. You're seeing a guy that has a little bit of confidence going into the second year, which you would expect for a guy like that. And you see some speed element of things, a guy that can run the show on the back end and make some communications that way. And still a young player. He's one of those guys that he's got to. What's he got to fix? He's got to become a bigger athlete. The sport demands that of you, and so he's one of those guys. He's got to put on some weight. He's got to put on some muscle. He's got to look like a second-year guy. And the things that made him a good player, and give him credit for that as a freshman. Okay, well, as a sophomore, the evaluation changes. You kind of get graded as a curve, freshman in general, and so we have high expectations for him, and he's got certainly got a long way to go, but we're excited about it.
What went into moving Chris Thompson down to linebacker, and how has that looked so far?
As much as anything, just trying to maximize the roster. I think as you look at every position, one of the roles as a coach is try to put your best 11 out there, put the next best 11 behind them, and maximize the individuals that you got. Some of it in spring ball is when you have deficiency at a certain position or from a numbers standpoint. Sometimes you do it for the longevity of it, what you think could happen in the fall, and then other times you do it just to get through the 15 days. I think the best position for him as we evaluate him to possibly have an impact for us, and so something we'll evaluate as we go through. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Alex.